having leverage is something we all want to have in our careers, okay? I don't care what it is. You want it. You leave one place, go to another. I want it, and he has that. That was the reasoning behind signing the short-term deals, because he always wanted to keep that ownership at bay in what he needed and what he wanted. He never wanted to give that power back to Dan Gilbert after what happened the first time. So when you come back and have that leverage and that power play, what you say and what you do has impact. Think about it. When LeBron ultimately leaves Cleveland, whether it's now or 5, 6, 7 years from now, how do you rebuild that? You don't, unless you luckily get something through the draft. You're not getting free agency. You're not getting guys to come over, so you're going to have to build through the draft. He knows that. Dan Gilbert knows that. The city of Cleveland knows that. So the leverage play is on LeBron's side, and it's going to be very interesting to see. Forget about what happens with this final. Even if they win it, it's going to be very interesting to see come June, July, what happens with LeBron and this organization.
By the way, if LeBron wins, there is no guilt leaving Cleveland.
At all. You got 2 titles.
I brought you your first. I gave you a second in the biggest upset in 50 years in the NBA. If you could make the argument, the easiest way for LeBron to leave, the easiest is winning.
Is to win, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could also make the argument the easiest way for LeBron to leave is getting crushed and swept. Now, by the way, what if, we're going to throw a picture on the screen for our television audience. What if KD was a Cav and LeBron was a Warrior? How many games would this series go?
They wouldn't even be here if KD was a Cav. They wouldn't be here. I don't think they would have been fourth maybe in the East, because KD's game is not built. Let me tell you something. We all want superstars to do what LeBron does. We talked about it in James Harden. Why can't he do in the game? You can't do it. What we're asking superstars, number one guys, to do is to live up to a LeBron James standard. And you just can't do it. It hasn't been many players who have played this game over the last 50 years that can do it.
I don't think there's been many players.
Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, I think, because of the way he plays.
He could give you 19 rebounds, 19 assists, or 19 points. Now, people forget how great Magic could give you. Magic was the first NBA Swiss Army knife.
That's right.
LeBron's the second, and he's a better Swiss Army knife.
So who else in our history we're talking about that could? Mike, as great as he was, he could not carry the load in regards to everything, because early in his career, if you think about it, when he came in, the battles with Boston and Detroit and things like that happened, and he wasn't successful because he couldn't carry – his game wasn't built on that.
By the way, this is very interesting. Not only was Michael Jordan 1-9 in his first 10 playoff series without Pippen, I'm not talking finals. I'm not talking Eastern Conference.
Yeah, you're talking about trying to get out the first round sometimes.
Mike couldn't win a round without Pippen.
Yep.
He couldn't get past the second round without Pippen. So when people say, well, the East was tougher, yeah, but you're going to tell me the first round was tougher than the Eastern Conference Finals now? Brad Stevens, pretty good coach. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, pretty good players.
Can I say this, Colin? We talked about this a little bit on Speak. Our gold standard for teams and winning is the Boston Celtics.
Right.
From 1957 to 1969, they won 13 titles, okay? Or 11 titles out of 13. 8 in a row they won, okay? But I said this to people, and they talk about LeBron and the East, how weak it is. I said, do you realize that in 57 through 69, that the Eastern Division, it wasn't called the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Division had 7 teams. The Western Division had 7. Atlanta and Chicago was in the Western Division. So you have 14 teams. So in the Eastern Division, Boston basically played 6 teams 8 times. Where's the parity? Where's the competition? Okay, but that's the gold standard. In the 80s, it was the Lakers that dominated basically the West. You had Portland, you had Denver, San Antonio a little bit, but not a lot. But we bang on LeBron because this is the time in which he lived in. This is the opponents that he has to face. So if he doesn't beat them, we kill him. Oh, the East is weak. If he beats them, he doesn't win. Now, 15, 20 years from now, when we look back at it, revisionist history is going to be different. But living in the moment, now I'm like, guys, go through history and really talk about dynasties. The Celtics in the 50s, 60s, not a lot of competition. The Lakers In the 80s, in the West, not a lot of competition. Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you really think about who Michael's Jordan, when Michael was in his peak years, the two teams he had to get through, the Knicks, with no pure shooters. Oakley couldn't shoot.
It was a different game, too.
No. It was.
A different game. Totally different game.
Let's be honest with it. Shooters were tough for Mike because Reggie Miller gave him fits.
Yeah.
Indiana had one pure shooter. So my thing is, I'm not saying the East didn't have boom, 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 but let's not overstate what Michael went through. Let's not overstate how many Hall of Famers on those Pacer teams, how many Hall of Famers on those New York Knicks teams. New York Knicks were tough. They had Patrick Ewing. Yep. John Starks was a guard. He shot 41%. That's significantly lower than like John Wall, who's Derrick Rose, who are not known as shooters. That's all I'm saying. By the way, how many games? Let me ask you about Lavar Ball.
Okay.
A couple of weeks ago, LA Times has a story. Everybody's tradable. Everybody's tradable. Jason Whitlock's like, that is a message.
Yeah.
That is a message that Lonzo, Lavar, we don't want to hear a word about Luke Walton. We don't want to hear a word about anything. Let me just tell you, if you were the Lakers, what would you do with Lonzo Ball?
If I'm the Lakers, I have to figure out a way to move him. In regards to getting – see, here's my issue. Because I love the young man himself.
I like his
what
game.
He can bring.
I like him too.
But now he's getting penalized because of the ancillary outside activities of his father. Okay? And that's a shame because we should base the merits on what we want to do with this young man on him, not on what's affecting him or us as an organization. And right now, the Lakers are in a situation from a purely business perspective. What's going on with LeVar on the outside of the scenes, they have to make a decision that's going to ultimately affect this young man, who's a great young man who I think can be a really good player in this league.
That's what I think.
You know, but now look at the tone in which Magic and the Lakers organization are talking with. When they first came in, it's no problem. We can handle LeVar. It's nothing. This is a transformative player. His jersey will be up. It will be hung. He will win multiple championships, all this kind of stuff. Now, the conversation is a little bit different.
They're dropping stories in the LA Times.
And again, you've always been an advocate of this. Organizations drop stories because they want you to know something.
Of course.
All the time. Well, it's an unidentified source. Okay, sure. Certain things you got to know on the inside in order to get this information. And they say, well, I'm going to let you know about this. Just get it out there. And that's what we see right now. And it's unfortunate because the young man is going to be penalized for it. And we'll never know in regards to if it happens with the Lakers how good he could have been if they decide to move him. Because if they do move him, he's going to a different organization.
He'll disappear.
He'll disappear.
And
it'll be something like, well, he wasn't that good after all. And hopefully, if he does go somewhere else, he gets an opportunity to start over and fresh and do something.
Listen, his dad rolled the dice. He was big and loud. I think it helped LeVar early. Yeah. I think it's hurting him now.
It is.
He went loud over smart, and I think it's penalizing Lonzo now. I think it actually, you can make an argument. It was very, very good for Lonzo early. It got him on the radar. It started a narrative in Los Angeles. You got to draft Lonzo.
But did he really need it?
I don't know if he did.
You know what I'm saying, Colin? Because he had enough game and enough cachet that if he played the way he could play, again, to me, the Lakers, he was a perfect fit from this perspective. He can give you 11 points, about 8 or 9 assists, about 6, 7 rebounds, couple steals. That's what the Lakers need. They need a facilitator. They already got scoring. They need someone that can run the the team, that can facilitate, understand time and score, and put guys in positions, the Kuzmas, the Ingrams, guys like that, the Randos, so they can be successful. They don't need another scoring point guard.
Yeah.
So he was perfect for that.
Jim Jackson, great stuff. Back in a second in LA, it's The Herd. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.